This is the Metapen, and what is the Metapen now? It's a third-party Apple pencil. I saw this on Amazon the other day and I was like, it's really intrigued because it has a lot of positive reviews and it's a fraction of the price. It's like 1/4 of the price of an Apple Pencil Type C. We're not comparing it against the two. I don't have the two, and I feel like that might be a little bit unfair comparison. I feel like its real competitor is the actual Apple Pencil Type C. And I say that because, well, this is the Metapen here, and this is the Apple Pencil Type C. They're very similar in style, and if we pull that up, they're even about the same length in size. Apple Pencil, I do like this more than this open exposed one, but for the price, can you compare? The recommended retail on the Apple Pencil Type C is £79.99, and this one is £25.99. Both can be had on discount. I see these about £60, and I see this for about £17. But let's have a look at what you get. We'll look at this one first. This is the Metapen. So Type C on there. There's also a little indicator light down here. But what do you get in the box? Because this one actually comes with more stuff. The Type C Apple Pencil. So there is also a notes app that comes with this that you can scan. It's just on the app, so you can literally search that and it's there. It also comes with a little manual, quick start guide, and it comes with this USB to Type C cable, which I also quite like. One thing I would have preferred was a C to C, mainly because if you really wanted, you could charge it then off the iPad, or maybe it doesn't work like that. I don't know. On the other hand, here we also have two tips. Now, the Type C Apple Pencil doesn't come with tips anymore. Unlike the Apple One pencil, where it actually did come with a tip. You gotta buy a pack off Apple for 20 quid. It is a pack of 4. But to be honest with you, I'm a casual user of the Apple Pencil. I dabble in a bit of drawing here and there, and I haven't really worn out a tip ever. Let's do some comparison on these two. First of all, the Apple Pencil wins in feel of quality. You know, the Apple Pencil's always, every Apple product feels nice. There's not many Apple products that do not feel nice in the hand. It's got a nice weight to it. You really do feel like you're holding something. If you remember, like, phone styluses or like DS styluses, they're very plasticky, they're very lightweight. The Apple Pencil does have some nice weight to it. And the Apple Pencil also has this charging slot that's covered there, so no dust gets in. Plus it's satisfying just to sit there and do this, and then the Meta Pencil is lighter. It is a bit lighter. It's probably, I would say, not weighing them, I'd say it's probably about half the weight of the Apple Pencil. Similar setup, except the Type C is exposed here and the light. So this is my iPad that I use. You know, as you've probably seen if you watch this channel, this is the iPad that comes on. And the reason I don't have the Apple Pencil 2 or compare it to this one, I don't think it's compatible with this iPad. If you want to get into digital drawing, I think the iPad and an Apple Pencil is like the cheapest way to, you know, to get a screen drawing tablet. Yeah, there's other drawing tablets, but you don't see the screen. This is a whole self-contained unit. So the Apple Pencil just clips on the side of your iPad like so, and for most part it will come off if you give it like a good jolt, but it sits on there quite well. You can see that it clicks on quite nicely, you know, and unless you give it like a proper walloping, it's not going to come off. The Meta Pencil on the other end doesn't really want to go on, as you saw, tip to top. You know, the Apple Pencil fits on there perfectly. This one, you would think, because it's supposed to work with iPads, you know, it's designed for iPads, doesn't want to sit that way. It like spins round a bit. So you think, oh, well, put it the other way. It doesn't want to work either. It just kind of, you know, it sits on there like that. So it's definitely an L for the Meta Pencil. And I thought, oh, maybe it's just this side, you know. Both ways it doesn't. It's just well like the magnets are pushing it away. If you can kind of see that, like it's not me doing that, it's like the magnetic force. It doesn't work that side. So does it work this side where the pins are? It does a bit better, but it's just not. And if you don't line it up right, it does just, you know, it doesn't take much before it's either spinning around or falling off. But other than that, you know, you can put it on the sides. That's a trade-off with buying this one over the Apple Pencil. So we're going to do a test. I've got up Procreate here because I feel like if you get an iPad Apple Pencil, this is what, you know, you want to look at. I look at this as the point of view of an average consumer, and what I've noticed with it, I'm not like a professional when it comes to these things. I don't draw for a living or anything. This is just purely a bit of fun for me. So with the Meta Pen, all you do is you tap it twice on the top. I do like this, and it lights up. So now it is ready to go. It doesn't work by Bluetooth like the other Apple Pencil does. So when it works like that. So I've drawn a line down the middle there. because we're going to use this as kind of a point of reference. So we'll use this side for the Metapen and then this side for the Apple Pencil, so you can see what I'm doing. I've got the sketching mode on a HP pencil because I feel like pencils, they've got a bit more of a, you know, depending on how you hold them, the flow is different. So we'll do what I said was going to do Meta Pencil this side, and we'll do Apple Pencil on this side. So we do some straight lines. You can see, granted my lines aren't the straightest, so don't judge the straightness of this. It feels pretty straight when I'm doing it. It feels like what's coming out is there. And also, if we go up and we turn our pencil sideways like you would with a real pencil, if you see a marker just by the pen nib, that's because I have brush cursor turned on, or whatever it's called. What is that setting called? Purely because I wanted to see what it was doing before I have brush cursor turned on in my settings. There's the other settings if you need to see that. But yeah, so that is what the Metapen does. It's pretty alright. So you can't have two of these things working at once. So if we turn on the Apple Pencil, so I did, if you notice, I had the iPad in Bluetooth mode. So I'll turn on Bluetooth. So our Apple Pencil is now turned on. The Apple Pencil as well doesn't have an on and off switch like the Metapen. It's just kind of like the wake up thing. Once you pick it up, it connects. Otherwise, it's not connected. So it doesn't need Bluetooth, and you can't use two at once. Not that I think you'd ever would. But yeah, if you have both, like I have, one or the other has to be off. And if you've got using the Metapen, you have to have the Bluetooth off for the Apple Pencil to work. So once again, we'll just do some lines. And I feel like we'll do a similar thing here, and we'll go up. So one thing I noticed was when, and this also happens sometimes with the pencil strokes, it hasn't happened here, so take it with what I say, that you seem to have more of a, there's a bit more of a precise like movement with this one. Brush into it, push down a bit harder. Yeah, you get a little bit of a different thing there, so you get a bit more of a pressure sensitive side with using the Apple Pencil compared to the other one. We'll turn the Bluetooth back off and turn on the Meta Pencil. We'll do this same test to see if we can get the same out of this one as the Apple Pencil, and we'll try and replicate this on this side. Of course it's not going to be exact, but we'll try. So when you're going down, can you really apply pressure? Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but there seems to be, get it a bit, and then it kind of goes off. It's a lot harder to get that to there. You know, if you see what I mean, it's a bit harder to get this darker contrast going. So we try it again. And I've erased some of these just because I'm trying to, see, maybe you have to be a little bit more precise. But yeah, it's a similar result. I don't think it's as good, like, especially when you're going like sideways. I think if you're using other brushes, like if you know, if we go somewhere more like this, where side activity doesn't really matter, side, different styles of pressure don't matter the same depending on what type of brush you're using. I think if you have an iPad like this one, and you're considering getting into drawing, you don't really want to spend a lot, because like I said, this Apple Pencil, even on sale, this is 1/3 of that one on sale. So Metapen is definitely an idea if you want to get one of these to try some drawing out. I'd say if you don't know if you're going to like it or use it, because obviously you don't want to spend money on something. If you think you might like it and you just don't like it, trying to hobby out, I would say get this one to start with if you're not sure. If you've got the cash, I'd say get the Apple Pencil. I'd say this is a great alternative, or maybe you just want to use some note taking, maybe you don't need something that does a bit more of a precise job. I'd say get the Metapen. So just when I ended the video, I forgot I had another thing to show you guys. I was looking online how I could like test these pens and how I could like see how much force and stuff there was. So I found this website. I don't know how reliable it is. I'll put the link in the description below so you can have a look. It's a GitHub website. So it's a demo of Apple Pen / 3D Touch API. So when I use this one, and I think this relates back to what I was saying before. If we go on here, you'll see we'll just do some, lines. And what I want you to look at here is the force is 0.12. It notices the stylus and that. Now, if we turn this one off and we'll refresh the web page and we'll turn on the Apple Pencil. So now we've got the Apple Pencil turned on. If we go on here, you'll notice that the force is actually double the force of this one. Now I find that interesting because I think that's kind of what I was getting at before with this, like the side lines when I was doing that. There is definitely a difference in pressure because we're getting more of a darker line just coming off this one compared to this one where it was getting a bit harder to get that in between, like lightish, between a light grey tone and a darker like a light tone, like a medium between the dark and the light, you know. But here, as you can see, there's more force. I don't know how accurate this is, but every time I've refreshed the web page and gone back, this is always a higher force rating. So I'm guessing the Apple Pencil has more force behind it, you know, and maybe that's how it can do shades better. I think it shades better than the Metapen 2. But yeah, little interesting insight there. What do you guys think of these pencils or pens? Which one would you pick? Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.